You had a 300 plus page production Bible?
Yes.
Can you tell us when you started assembling that, and did you leave anything out?
So yeah, the production Bible, I'd never compiled anything like this before, other than obviously editing a feature, I guess was a bigger task. But with this film, because it was a very modest budget, and I guess because I just wanted to drive myself insane, I decided not only was I directing and shooting it, but I was also going to be doing the production design, props, costumes, set dressing, all of that. And so I knew if I didn't have every detail of it written down, I would lose track first day into shooting. I would have no idea what shot is next. Would, if I just had a shot list, I wouldn't remember like, well, what was the composition? What was I even think? Why was I, why did I want to just stay in close-ups the whole time? Why didn't I want to have it? So I knew I needed to have it all laid out. So I had all the storyboards. I had every scene was broken down by each shot. In each shot, what props were needed, what costumes were needed, which actors were in it, which were extras, vehicles, the location, everything broken down. Because I knew if I didn't have that, I'd only done one feature before, but I knew in that one, there were times where Jared and I would be looking at the script and the shot list, trying to remember, like, wait, how did that scene end? Okay, that scene ended in a close-up, so we can't start this one with a close-up. And we'd be like, no, wait, no, we ended it with a wide shot, so okay, we do start this one with a close, like, trying to figure out the visual language, and I was, Jared for the longest time was a crutch for me. The guy's just, a master of visual storytelling, that I didn't really have to worry about it much. Well, he's doing big movies now, so I was like, well, I guess I'll just shoot this one myself. And but yeah, without having him as a crutch, I was really nervous going into it, and then having so many different responsibilities creatively on it, I had to, and I'm so glad I did, because if I didn't have that production Bible, this thing would have been just a flaming train wreck. So.
Any advice to filmmakers on how they should begin one? Maybe it won't be 300 plus pages, but just a more condensed version?
I mean, definitely have all of those elements, because if you're doing a lower budget film, you probably don't have somebody who's a department head for all the props and a department head for costumes and all of that. You probably have, if you're lucky, you have one person that's overseeing that. Sometimes it's just, everybody's taking turns on it, and you've got actors bringing their own wardrobe or whatever. But if you do that breakdown, you think about things like, okay, in this scene, these three guys get bitten by a vampire, so their shirts are going to get bloody, which means I am bringing their shirts because I'm not paying for their laundry bills. Plus, probably won't wash out. So knowing that type of stuff, and then just realizing, when you're doing that shot list, you start thinking about little things that you wouldn't necessarily think about. Like, there's a scene in it where he throws a cell phone out the window. It wasn't until I was going through really like putting together this production Bible where I'm like, oh, I need to bring a disposable phone. I need to bring a phone that's dead, or that nobody wants anymore, because otherwise, I guess it'll be my phone we throw out the window. So that sort of thing, like, trying to reach out to friends, like, hey, anybody got an old cell phone they don't need anymore? That still powers on. Stuff like that, like, I wouldn't have thought of that. And so I highly recommend putting together not just a shot list, but really some level of production Bible where every day when you walk onto set, you've already gone through a checklist of the props that you need, the costumes you need, making sure that you have the people that you need, and all that sort of stuff. And granted, a lot of that's a producer role, other department heads, but on this one, it was really, Michael's an amazing producer and he handled the logistics well, but a lot of the department heads were me and other people just kind of putting our heads together. And so we've got, Nika helping as a production coordinator, but she's also acting in, quarter of the movie. You've got Sarah as my AD and script supervisor, but she's also acting in part of the movie, as well as she's helping Jeff Black with sound, and she's helping with getting, helping Michael arrange food deliveries and all this sort of stuff. Like, we're all pulled in so many different directions. The fact that we could all go back to this production Bible and see, oh, we've got this is taken care of, this is checked off. It's a great feeling, and there's nothing like finishing the day and just seeing everything on the page checked off. It's the greatest feeling in the world. Like, we got it all. we can go to sleep now. So highly recommend it. It's a lot of tedious work to start with, but it's the most gratifying thing while you're shooting, because just knowing you got everything and being able to check it all off as you accomplish it, it just gives you peace of mind.
And are you just getting like a 3-ring binder?
Yeah.
And then putting in stuff in these like plastic
Exactly.
separators?
Yeah,
okay.
it is. It's a 3-ring binder. I've got basically each scene has a divider between it. So when I'm making it, that's the other hard part, is like, so I made it just in the order of the script, but then once Michael and I had our shooting schedule down, I reorganized it by day. So it's like, okay, well, we're doing this day. So that was the tricky part with this one, because, you know, certain scenes, just like in any film, you break them up. This one's being shot at that part of the day. This one's being shot at that part of the day. We had certain scenes that part of them were shot in Laughlin, part were shot in Vegas, and part were shot in LA. So breaking it up by day was also essential, because we'd be like, okay, on day, you know, once you get to day 20, you know, the script doesn't even mean anything to you anymore. It's all abstract at that point. It's like, you know, your brain is just such a jumbled mess. So you can look at, okay, on day 20, oh good, okay, we're doing the apartment scene, so we don't have to deal with crowds, we don't have to deal with the casino, we don't have to deal with that. But, you know, we've got to make sure we have the blood bags, we've got to make sure that we have her running shoes, and we have to have this and that. So it was essential for that, and then, like I said, just breaking it down by day was essential too, and we just had the divider between each one. And then I also, of course, had the PDF file, and I would just, each day, print out a couple copies for everybody to have, so that way, you know, again, checklist. Nika going through costumes, making sure we had extras costumes, and we had the, you know, that Vanya had the right shirt on that day that matched with the other scenes and stuff like that. So, yeah, highly recommend. Keep it as organized as possible, as thorough as possible. Again, it's tedious. It's a very tedious process. I spent probably as much time putting on the production Bible as I did the first draft of the script. But it's saved me so many times, and kept it all organized. I didn't have to think, like, I could look, you see, you know, right here you've got your shot, the storyboard with the shot description underneath it, and you can see all the shots lined up. So you're like, oh, that's why I decided to go in for a close-up here, because it was described and it made sense, whereas if it had just been storyboard or a shot list, it wouldn't have worked for me. Now granted, that's if you have, you know, not everybody needs storyboards. We didn't do it on Frey, partly because oftentimes I would just defer to Jaren on visuals. But, you know, not everybody needs that, but I feel like the more information you have, the better, because that's one thing I did find was scary when I was doing Frey, is that feeling of forgetting even what you were doing. It's like, wait, where are we today? We've shot like 4 scenes and we're going into 5. I don't even remember what this is in the script. I don't remember what I was trying to accomplish with it. So yeah, I just think it's essential to have that.